What's going on, you guys? Dark Saint here with another video, this time talking to you guys about Resident Evil 4 Remastered. This was a really fun game back in the day, still fun to play even now, and I am doing a full strategy guide that a lot of you guys have watched and have been enjoying. Well, this one is a ultimate treasure guide. This will tell you where all the ultimate treasures are in the game, as well as some extra hidden plants and items and ammo and things like that that might help you out. Now, this does cover all the treasures, so it is very in-depth, and there's a lot of breaking, a lot of cuts, and everything like that. So I apologize for a lot of that. However, for the main items, for the high valuable, really expensive items that you're trying to sell to the merchant to level up your stuff, those will be in the timetable that you see here. And you can just go ahead and jump to what it is that you're looking for in order to help you guys find those high valuable items that you're looking for. The rest of it will just be covering all the basic items, like where some toolboxes are, how to get specific, plants out of certain areas, how to farm eggs if you guys are looking for chicken eggs to sell, little things like that. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it. Now here at the beginning of the game, there are 3 crows you can hit. You have to hit them in order for them not to fly away. However, if they do fly away, you can simply just restart the mission or last checkpoint. Obviously, you just started the game, so last checkpoint's literally right behind you. Also, if you don't like what they gave you, like let's say they only give you 300 gold, you can actually shoot them again. Just restart, and hopefully you guys will get some higher value out of them. As you can see, the second time I do this, I actually walk away with 400 from the 2 birds, and the one on the back right always drops a spindle, so you don't have to worry about him changing at all. Next, right after you kill your first target, if you run upstairs, there's some pistol ammo here on the table. Just a quick little grab, and you can go ahead and get on your way. Next is the first barn area here. There's a few boxes in here as well as some ammo. This box is guaranteed to have a plant. These 2 boxes are random, but they might give you some kind of good items. You can see I got quite a bit of gold out of them. Next, you have the 2 birds that are right outside. You do want to make sure you hit the bird on the top right, the one on top of the post. He drops a grenade. The other one is randomly generated, so you can get some money out of him, but you definitely want to make sure you hit the one on the post on the top right, as that is the one that drops the grenade. Shortly after this, you will see a wolf inside of a bear trap. Be sure to release him because he comes in handy a little bit later on in the game. So be sure to release him so that he can help you out later on. A little bit further down the street, of course, you'll find another barn. There is a plant in here as well, a green herb, so you make sure you want to grab that, as well as 2 boxes. These are randomly generated boxes, but the green herb should help you out quite a bit. And then at the very end, there is another cabinet. However, there is an enemy in here, so you want to be careful. I personally like to shoot out their legs and then go in and just knife them so you don't waste ammo. Of course, there's more ammo inside this shed, as well as 2 boxes that are randomly generated. Obviously, I didn't get anything out of them, but you can get items out of them. Moving on, we'll start at the village. Shortly after you look at the dead body on the post, you can go ahead and skip this scene. You want to quickly move and try and stay as close as you can to this right wall and try and cut up. You don't necessarily need to do this, but I am going to show you the full fight in order to get all the items out of here. So go ahead and pick up your grenade, pick up whatever comes out of the box on the left. The box on the right will always drop a flashbang grenade. However, the box on the left is randomly generated. I believe, I'm not 100% sure on that one, but I believe it's randomly generated. And as you can see, I got ammo out of it, but I don't believe that that's necessarily always going to be the case. After that, you're going to want to run to the other side. Just follow where Leon's running here, and there's a chainsaw guy up here, and you want to quickly get rid of this guy so you can get the second one to spawn, and you don't have to worry about anything else taking place. And you want to be fast because there is a time limit before these guys start spawning in, and the more enemies spawn in, the less time you're going to have to kill both chainsaws. There's actually 2 chainsaws you can kill at this area, and you're going to want to kill both of them in order to get the maximum reward out of it. So as you can see, I went ahead and flashbanged them and then kicked them. That did a pretty good chunk of damage. Then I saved my actual hand grenade to do the last little bit of damage and then knifed them. The knife does do a very big chunk of damage at this early levels, especially for you guys starting a new game. If you don't have any good weapons, the knife is a good way to go. You just have to be quick and got to get used to using it. So of course you get a ruby out of him. Next, you're going to want to go into this first barn door building thing. There's going to be a quick cutscene after you go inside of it. All you do is you barricade the area, but if you guys want to watch this cutscene, you can. Be sure to tear up what you can inside there. There's some ammo in the back on the cabinet, and then there's a shotgun upstairs, and then a grenade inside the glass. Be sure to grab all of this, as it will be useful. The 1,000 gold on the table is always going to be there, and then of course you have the shotgun ammo. You jump out, and if you look on the chimney, you'll see some ammo for your pistol, and that'll always be there as well. The eggs, of course, are randomly generated. However, sometimes you can get lucky and get some eggs. I ended up getting 2 of them, but they can be brown and or gold eggs if that's what you guys are really, really looking for. Next, the chainsaw guy runs pretty quickly. This is the second one. He spawns after you go inside the building. So just drag him away from the rest of the crowd, and then you can deal with him by himself. I do recommend using the shotgun to knock him down, and then running up and knifing him. This will save you a lot of ammo. And like I said before, the knife does do a pretty good chunk of damage. Now here I do play a little bit risky, as I keep him fairly close to this other guy, but you don't necessarily have to do that. You can keep drawing him away. You just want to be quick about it. You definitely want to finish him off as quick as you can. And like I said before, I am playing a little bit risky here, but you want to try and finish this guy off as quick as possible and get the gold out of him, because you don't have a lot of time. That shotgun blast actually killed him, and as you can see, more enemies are spawning. And if I'm not quick, if I don't hurry like really, really quickly, I can definitely cause this area to finish, and I don't want that to happen. Now right there was a big mob in front of me, and I did think about throwing a grenade, which would have been fine because all of them would have dropped items, and that is helpful, but that's not really what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get back over to the chainsaw guy and pick up the gold before the next area of the map spawns, because if these zombies leave and I have to skip cutscenes, then they might despawn, and that'll cause me to have to wait, and if I wait too long, then the gold will disappear, and you don't want that. So you definitely want to quickly get to the chainsaw and pick up your gold. Now if you run over here to the building that I just climbed on top of, this is a place that I like to hang out at. It's very useful for, just waiting out the time and waiting for the despawn to happen. Of course you can kill everything in the map if you really, really want to, in order to, hopefully get some better items out of the enemies. However, they're not guaranteed to drop anything, so I wouldn't worry too much about that unless it's like your second or third time playing through it and you have a whole bunch of extra ammo and extra equipment and really powerful weapons. Then go for it. But for those of you guys that are just starting out, I recommend coming up here and staying pretty close to the right side, and you'll see why in just a second. These guys will run after me, and I'm able to just shoot them, and of course they fall off, and then they have to run all the way back around in order to get back on top of the building. So I'll just sit here, cap them in the legs, wait them out, and eventually you'll see that they do despawn. I believe it's shortly after I kill this female one here. Yep, there's the despawn there. So go ahead and skip that. Now we're going to do a quick run through of the village, showing you guys where all the plants are, all the herbs are, things that you guys are going to actually need in the game. Now of course we've already taken up the path on the right. If you didn't do that previously, you definitely want to do that and get the flashbang and the ammo out of there. But if you'll notice, there's a yellow herb here, red herb here, a quick little mix here. You can mix the green and the red and the yellow together to give you an ultimate healing that will not only heal your max health but also increase your health bar by just a slight little bit. I believe it takes 4 yellow herbs in order to fill up one of your little health meter pieces, so it takes quite a few in order to get all the way to maximum health, but you definitely want to collect all the yellows that you can. If you go up to the top of the tower, there's normally ammo right here. I'd say normally, there was always ammo right there. And then if you go into the building on the right side of the map, you'll see some barrels, some boxes and stuff like that, and you'll also have a door that has a lock on it. Simply knife the lock off of it, and there's some gold and some items in that room as well. There's gold on the bed, and then there's a box, and then there's a barrel right to the right of the door. Make sure you don't miss that. Of course it is randomly generated and you're not guaranteed to get anything out of it, but it is nice to have. Now this is the left side of the map. This is the first building on the left, a little small shed. Not a whole lot in here, but there is a few barrels, a little bit of ammo on the desk, stuff like that. I don't know if that ammo is guaranteed in professional mode or not, but I would consider checking out the house regardless. Again, there's a couple more in the back. I think that grenade there is guaranteed, but I'm not 100% sure. Now if you go back into the other house where you got the shotgun and the grenade out of the glass, if you jump out that window and run around to the back, you'll find a spindle on top of the house. So be sure to pick that up as well before you leave. Also, these are the last 3 houses that you can visit before you leave on the way to the next area. The house on the left up top is empty. There's nothing in here. You can go ahead and skip past that. But the house on the right, they have a note as well as some ammo on the desk. So the note I will have in this guide, but they're not necessarily helpful in any way. In this next area, you can continue to reset this. Just press start, retry, and load if they don't give you the eggs that you're looking for. So you can see there was only 2 white eggs, and I didn't like that. A little bit later on, I come back by here, and you'll notice there's a gold egg. Now, I definitely want that because you can sell that for 3,000 gold. Moving on, we're going to go and do a quick run through of where all the items are. We will also go over the metals in this, but first we're going to look at all the items. There's a barrel, of course, inside here. You go inside the barn that's right in front of you behind the tree. There's several items in this place, so you definitely want to collect as many as you can here. There's some spindles over here, ammo, as well as a plant, I believe, upstairs, if I'm not mistaken. But be sure to collect as much as you can out of these, as this gold will go a long way. If you go upstairs, nope, it wasn't a plant, it was ammo, I'm sorry. Jump out the window, and if you look between these 2 posts, there's a little bit of a drop right there. You're going to want to drop down here, and this is where the high valuable item is that's great for selling. This is the beer stein. You don't want to sell it yet because you can still add cat's eyes into them. So hold on to it for now, and we'll collect the cat's eyes as we go. After you get to the end of the walkway, go ahead, open up the boxes. These are randomly generated boxes, so you don't have to worry too much about them, but they always are a little bit helpful to have. There is a spindle in this house, that's guaranteed spindle. However, the barrel and the box outside are randomly generated, but there is a spindle inside that house. Of course, you have your medallion note over here. And then the last thing that we're going to look at before we start collecting the metals is there is a amulet on the well. Now, there is a very specific way you have to get this amulet. You can't just shoot it. If you shoot it, it's going to land in the dirty water, and it'll make it a dirty amulet, which takes the value from 10,000 all the way down to 1,000. The other thing that you don't want to do is after you collect, or after you shoot the wood out the back, like I showed you there, you're supposed to shoot the wood out the back. You can actually open it. You do not want to open it because you can't close it back. So do not open it before you get the amulet. You can open it after you get the amulet, and that doesn't matter. So shoot the wood out, shoot the amulet, pick up the amulet. Now we're going to go over the metals. Of course, there's a metal at the top of the barn on the left that you guys should see fairly quickly. And then if you run behind the barn, you'll see an amulet hanging on the tree. Simply turn around and go back to the tree where you had the sign stuck on the tree, and there's a medallion in the right hand corner of that. And then run over here to the back right behind the second barn and look up. You'll see the 4th medallion. After this, you're going to run upstairs, go to the end of the catwalk, and turn around. Inside the same barn that you shot the amulet out the back of it, you turn around and look inside the window, and there's an amulet right there in the center. Simply turn around and you'll see a windmill. There's an amulet attached to the windmill. Shoot that one. And then if you look to the left, you'll see a gate, and the last amulet is hanging above that gate on one of the posts. If I could shoot it. So that's 7 out of 15 here. The last 8 are going to be in the graveyard. So let's move on. In this next area, you're going to be running, and it'll activate a scene where you have to dodge a boulder. Simply run away from the boulder and jump out of the way of it. And then you can actually turn around and go back to the enemies that are on the bridge. Now, these enemies that are on the bridge, they can fall off. Sometimes they're in weird areas like they are right now. As you can see, they're on the left side. And the reason they're not falling off is simply because they don't have anywhere to fall to. Normally, they would simply fall off, but because of where they're located at, they can't drop. So simply retry, because it'll be right after the boulder incident. Simply retry and run back, and you'll notice that they have moved. So you can simply, as soon as the boulder scene's over, just simply retry, and you'll notice that they have moved. Go ahead and let the second one get close, and then you can shoot him off as well. These enemies are not guaranteed to drop items. However, because of the retry location. The checkpoint is literally right behind you. You can continue to retry this until you get some items that you're looking for. I believe one drops ammo, and that can be pistol ammo or shotgun ammo, and the other one drops money, if you can get it to drop. I believe they can both drop money for that matter. Anyway, going down the tunnel, of course, you have the two shiny lights. Be sure to clip both of them. And then in the next area, there's several items in this house. A good way to clear this house is actually to get that front enemy there to see you. And he has a stick of dynamite. Just keep staying in his way until he throws it at you. He has a really bad arm, so he always ends up hitting the wall. And then you can jump in here and clear out the house, get whatever is in there. A couple barrels on the left, as well as some money from any of the enemies that might have died. There is one more enemy here. He kind of surprised me. I thought he died from the dynamite, but there is another enemy in that room. There's also an enemy outside that'll be throwing dynamite at you. However, he can't get inside the house, so you don't have to worry too much about that. At least he's never been able to get it inside the house on me. Now, there is a grenade inside there, so be sure to grab that. The enemies aren't guaranteed to drop anything, but you definitely want that grenade. Also, after you finish off the last guy that's outside, if you run inside this shed, you'll see a couple boxes here. You definitely want to get those. One of them does have a spindle in it, and that is guaranteed. And then if you don't like spiders, you can simply blow them up like that, because, you know, I really don't like spiders. Anyway, moving on. If you go to the main house where you hear all the racket coming from and you look to the tree on the right, you'll see a bird's nest. Go ahead and shoot that down and run over and pick it up. And that'll be your first cat's eye that'll go inside your beer stein. There's also a box quickly behind it. Of course, that is a randomly generated box, so you're not guaranteed anything out of it. But that's up to you whether or not you want to try and get it. Going inside the house, after you break the lock off, there is some ammo. There's also some money inside the shelf right there, as you can see there. And then if you run to this back area, you're going to have to be careful because there's a couple of dynamites on it. Simply shoot those and then move to the back. There's a couple more items back here. One inside of the cabinet in front of you, there's a plant, so make sure you pick up that green herb. And then there's some gold on the table. And that ends all of chapter 1.1. Moving on to chapter 1.2, at the very beginning inside the house, there's a little bit of ammo. Be sure to pick that up. And if you head outside to the right of the door, there's another green herb. Be sure to pick that up. You run to the back of the house. Of course, you'll find your merchant. And then once you're done selling or buying or doing whatever it is that you choose to do with the merchant, simply run behind him, and you're definitely going to want to come back here. There's two barrels, and one of them has a red herb in it, and you're definitely going to want to mix that with one of the green herbs that you just got. Moving on, there's several ammo spots throughout this area, but it is kind of hectic. The lockers are really what you're looking for. The first locker has a flashbang, and the next two has gold, and the one in the very back left has a yellow herb, so be sure to pick that up before you leave. Now, there are plenty of boxes and everything else in that area, so be sure to pick that up. The next area of the map, once you get done with the room where two enemies are throwing TNT at you, if you check the fireplaces, two of them one has ammo and one has a spindle in it, so be sure to grab that. And then right after you leave that area, if you look to the left, you'll see barricades. Simply knife those and jump through it, and that's how you get the mask. In the next area, shortly after that, before you go up that ladder, you're going to want to actually jump down this ladder. And you'll notice that there's a few items down here, and I believe a grenade. Yes, there's a flashbang grenade. Now, in the GameCube version, you could simply throw a flashbang grenade and it would kill all the fish, but that doesn't seem to work on the remastered version. However, you don't have to waste ammo either. If you can catch them in corners, you can simply knife them and kill them that way. Now, you are going to need a lot of room in your inventory, so I hope that you saved room in order to pick these up. But assuming that you didn't, you may have to run all the way back to the merchant in order to make room. That's not necessarily something that you have to do. Now, I do recommend making the trip back to the merchant once you have all the fish, because it'll be a while before you're able to see another merchant. So you see here, am I fast forwarding through this? I'm going to head back all the way back to the merchant and go ahead and sell the fish in order to clear up some room in my inventory, as it will come in handy later on. So that's my recommendation. I do recommend going all the way back and selling your items. Anyway, moving on, after you finally do climb the ladder, you'll see another set of crows. You can simply shoot the one in front of you, and that won't spook the other two. And then if you shoot the dynamite, that'll actually kill the other two, so you don't have to waste another shot. You can simply just blow them up. And if for whatever reason you miss it, you can simply restart. Or if the birds don't drop items that you're looking for, you can restart the checkpoint because you just came out of the well, and that'll be your last checkpoint. So it's a quick, easy way to hold on to quite a bit of items if you are trying to get some high items out of the birds. Now here is another well type situation again. Now I will show you what happens if you shoot it into the dirty water. Right now the value of it is 10,000. I'm going to go ahead and shoot it and show you what you get. First thing, you would shoot out that board, but if you open it, you'll notice I can't shut it back. And then if I shoot it now I don't get anything for it. It's a dirty brass pocket watch. It's only worth 1,000 gold versus 10,000 gold. However, if you simply just retry, you can just simply retry and then come back and do it again. The checkpoint's literally right there, so it's not that big of a deal. Now I shouldn't have to tell you how to get past this puzzle, but I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway. Simply press up, and that'll turn your little figurine upwards, and then press left or right, it doesn't matter, and that'll open up the door. Going inside the room, of course you have just a few items in here, not a whole lot, but there is a note on the bed. You read that if you want. I'm going to go ahead and skip over that and then go to the closet on the right, and you'll find some gold in there. If you run back to the desk, you will find ammo inside the desk. I don't believe there's any ammo on professional mode in there, but there might be. And then of course the key on the lock there. Alright, so that brings us to the end of chapter 1.2. Now we're on to 1.3. As soon as you spawn, simply run up to the desk in front of you and grab the green herb. If you run through the door, you will see a quick cut scene where you can see Ada Wong and stuff like that. And then once you head downstairs, I'm going to quickly do a run through of the house to show you where everything is. There is an enemy in here, so be careful. That's why I creeped in here, took out his legs, ran in, knifed him, saved me some ammo. That takes care of him. Now, if he drops anything, you know, that's a good thing, but again, he is randomly generated. He's not guaranteed to drop anything. Simply run to the kitchen. You'll find a grenade in the glass on the left. Go ahead and break that. And then if you turn around, there is a cabinet you can open with some gold inside of it. And then if you run back to the kitchen area, if you look inside of the oven, you will find a brown egg, which does give a pretty good portion of your health back. Once you exit this house, there is a chainsaw, which I'll quickly show you guys how to take care of him. I do get a little bit lucky in this, as you'll see in just a minute, but we're going to go ahead. Make sure your sniper stays loaded. This is what I recommend, just hanging out in the doorway and sniping out the enemies until you finish them down. There's a triple hit right there, killed 2 guys, plus I hit the chainsaw guy again. I am going to go ahead and run outside and grab the gold just so it doesn't despawn. I'm going to let this guy come at me. And just simply wait for him to get close, or just keep shooting him in the head, whatever way you feel safer. I do enjoy saving ammo, so that's why you'll see me run up here and knife at him a couple of times. Another good trick you can do is to run inside the house, because the chainsaw guy is going to have to open the door, and then just simply sit there and wait for him to come in. Of course, I missed that shot there, which kind of sucked. If you're able to hit that shot, you'll knock him back outside, and then he has to open the door again, and you just simply hold him there in the door and just keep shooting him. I did miss that shot, and I did get scared, and I almost died right there. I almost did bite it, but I was able to get away. I run back out, spin back around. Again, he's got to come through the door again, and I could have tried to trap him there, but he was running around a lot. Anyway, you finally kill him, and he also has a ruby, so be sure to finish him off. Moving on, right after the chainsaw guy, there is a tree with a bird's nest inside of it. Shoot the bird's nest, and you will get a spinel. After you clear out the 2 enemies that are inside this house, there's a farmer outside and his wife inside. Go ahead and run inside. You'll find a red herb inside, as well as another nest right outside. Just shoot the bird's nest. This one drops some SMG ammo if you happen to have a TMP. I don't think that one changes. I believe that one stays the same. Going back to the village shortly after you open up the door, now that you have the key that you got from the end of chapter 1.2, run inside the building. You'll find some ammo and some gold on the table. Run to the back and you will find a barrel that's randomly generated. Be sure to shoot the lamp. Once the lamp's flames go out, you can run in there and grab the spinel that it drops. Afterwards, you'll drop down into the little cave. Shoot this one as well. The lamp itself doesn't drop anything, but it will cause some of the different items to shimmer. So go ahead and shoot all 3 of these items that are here. One is a headdress. The headdress is worth 10,000, so you definitely want to pick that up if nothing else. And then the other 2 are simply spinels. There is a box here. I don't believe I've ever gotten an item out of it, but I do believe it is randomly generated, so there's a chance that you can get some items out of that box. Next, we are now in the cemetery. There's actually 3 crows here. We're going to rearrange so you can see all 3 of them. We're going to shoot the first one in the middle, and then shoot the one on the left, and then shoot the one on the right. You can restart the checkpoint if you really want to, if these birds don't drop the amount of money that you're looking for. I believe the one on the right always drops TMP ammo, but you can play around with it and see what else you might get. Anyway, if you go to the shed in the very, very, very back, there is a snake here, so be careful. If you swipe the bottom of the box, I do believe that you can kill him without him lurching at you, as well as a note on the table and another box in the top right. Back in the beginning area, if you ran to the right, you'll see another box over here. There's some ammo on the table, as well as 2 randomly generated boxes that can give you items out of them. And then, as for the puzzle in the back, there is a trick to it. You're looking for the double graves. You'll notice a backwards, or a Z, a weird shaped M, and then if you go all the way to the back, you'll notice a V. And that is the passcode that you're looking for the puzzle that's back behind the church. So the numbers for the puzzles are pretty easy. I'll leave them on screen. But this is the way that I do it. I will normally do 3, 4, and then I believe I hit 4 a couple of times so that it highlights a couple more. And I know this is counterintuitive at first, but you'll see why I do it this way. The only one we're really looking for is the M, so now we have the Z, the M, and the V all highlighted. Now we have to unhighlight everything else. So we're going to turn 3 to get that taken care of, turn 3 to get this taken care of, and then turn 3 more to shut that one off, and that'll open it up. And there's your second cat's eye for your beer steam. Next, we're going to go back to the beginning and start grabbing the medallions. If you look up in the tree on the right, you'll notice your first medallion. Go ahead and shoot that one. That'll give you 8 out of 15. You turn around and go to the tree on the back, or I'm sorry, right next to it. The tree on right next to it will give you the second one, and then in the far back left, it'll give you another one. If I can hit it from this distance. Next, if you run just to the left of the church, once you get back up here, I'll show you the path that you need to take. Go to the left side of the church, and you'll see your next one. And then if you circle back around to the back where the puzzle was, assuming that you've already completed the puzzle, you can of course hit these in any order you want. But if you go back here to where the puzzle was, simply look up to the left and you'll see the next medallion up here. Alright, the last 3 are actually going to be on the catwalk that leads to the next area. So we're going to run back here behind everything. You'll see one hanging right in front of you. That one's kind of obvious. And then as soon as you shoot this one, turn around and you'll see one hanging off the ledge right there. So simply run back to the little gap that you jumped over before. You can shoot that one. And then for number 15, it's simply right down on this side. Now, you don't have to shoot all 15. You only need 10, but you know, for you guys that are collectors, you can go ahead and go for all 15. And so those are all 15 medallions. Moving on in the next area, there's a barrel right here on the right, and you can get a few different things out of here. So, for example, I got TMP ammo. I really didn't care for that, so I simply retried it, opened it back up, and now I got gold. So you can retry that as many times as you want to get what you're looking for. Now, there are a lot of birds here, and I am going to show you a very quick way to take care of all these birds. Simply grab a flashbang grenade, aim up high, and that eliminates all the birds. So you can quickly run around, pick up all the gold that they drop. They do drop quite a bit of gold. Of course, all of these birds only drop around 200 to 300, but the one in the middle does drop a flashbang, so you get your flashbang back. So don't feel like you need to waste it or anything. The flame grenade doesn't work all that well. The regular grenade will work, but the flame grenade does not work all that well, and you might not hit all of them with a flame grenade. It's better to use a flashbang, as a flashbang isn't really that important throughout the entirety of the game. It is more useful at the end game, but for now it's not super important, and you can go ahead and wipe them out with a flashbang pretty easily. Once you've cleared those 3 cabinets, go to the back left, and there's a spindle on some of the boulders there. And then if you run to the next area, there's a couple of barrels right around this corner that you can open up as well. Next, if you go to the door on the right, if you go down the stairs, this will be the merchant's area. There's some ammo on the table there. And then if you go to the back behind the merchant station, you'll see a barrel. So you want to go to the door on the right first, right and downstairs. You want to take that one first. And then, of course, this is where you can buy your Punisher. I sold my handgun in order to make room for the Punisher, and the Punisher is the item that you get for free once you've collected all of the medallions. Moving on, once you take the path on the right, you'll notice a shed that has some ammo as well as a barrel inside of it, and shortly after that you will have to dodge a boulder. As soon as you have dodged this said boulder, simply run forward and turn around so you can see it and look up, and you'll notice another spinel hanging in the roof here. Go ahead and shoot that down, and that'll be your spinel. Now this is the swamplands. There's a few different items here. Once you get to the catwalk, simply jump down and you will find a grenade there on the ground. Be sure to grab that. You will also find two random snakes in two different locations, as well as some snakes inside these boxes, as you can see here in the first shed on the left. The snakes that are around, you can find them. There's two of them, one near you at the start and one at the end, so be sure to look for those if you guys are looking to collect some eggs out of them. So after you clear the shed on the left, if you follow the path that I'm running here, simply jump off the catwalk and run around to the right side. You'll see an old tree. Look up and you'll see a nest. Go ahead and shoot that down, and that'll give you your pipe. And then if you run around this area very, very quickly here, you'll see a bench, and if you look on the bench, you'll find another grenade. And then this is the last snake at the end. So there's two of them that just kind of wander around. Sometimes they're hard to find, but there are two snakes that do wander around the area, as well as another snake inside the last shed on the left once you have gotten through the swamp. So be sure to watch out for that snake as well. Alright, in the next area, this is right before you fight the boss for the chapter, so we're almost at the end of the video. You'll come to a fork in the road, go to the left path, and once you get to the top, you'll see a little cutscene. You can choose to watch it, choose to skip it. Anyway, once it's over, simply turn around and go to the tree that's right behind you. And it's hard to see, but there is a red herb right here, so be sure to pick that up. If you go down the path on the right of the fork, you'll see a bird's nest. Go ahead and shoot the bird's nest, and you'll find a gold bangle with pearls. And then if you go inside the shed, you'll see a little box of ammo as well as a yellow herb in the box behind you. So be sure to get that yellow herb out of there. And then if you go to the end here, you'll see a green herb on the table. And that'll mix the green, the yellow, and the red together to give you a really good one, as well as a barrel behind you. And then, of course, a checkpoint if you guys are wanting to save it. Now, last thing I wanted to show you guys was the silverfish that you can get to jump out of the water. Obviously, I can't see them right here. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to run all the way back to the door that you first came in. Go ahead and exit that door, and then turn around and come back in and see if we can't see them now. So we come back to the water. There's a few fish here. We're going to see if we can't get them to come out. Go ahead and shoot at the water a few times. This is for an achievement as well. So for those of you guys that are looking for all the achievements, go ahead and see if you can't find the silver fish. Let's see. We got one down. Let's see if we can't get another one. Oh, there he is. There he is. There's the silver fish. Anyway. Sorry, I had to do it, you guys. Anyway, you guys, that'll wrap it up for this video. I will leave off with the boss fight for the video. The silverfish isn't actually there. That's just a little thing that I enjoy doing. I like checking out the monster that comes out of the water. The first time I did that actually was on GameCube, and it scared the crap out of me. Maybe it scared some of you guys that time watching it. But one good strategy I did want to point out when fighting this guy is to, as soon as you get hooked, he's going to run you into some trees. You can go ahead and dodge those ones, but when he turns around, he's going to go through the same trees. And this is just a strategy that I use. Go ahead and let yourself be hit by that first tree that he comes into. And the reason for that is it will actually cause him to like move away from the trees now, and makes it a little bit easier to deal with them as he'll be in open water. This next time I get hit, it's not intentional. I just can't seem to move. Like I'm kind of like stuck there. So I didn't mean to get hit that second time. The first time though, you can get hit on his way back, and that'll throw you. Yes, you lose a little bit of health. So if that's not really your thing, you can do whatever you want. But I do recommend, for those of you guys trying to get away from the trees anyway, to go ahead and get hit by that first tree, and that should get you to get away from the area there. Anyway, you guys, I'm going to leave off the video with this playing. I hope you guys enjoyed this little guide. I hope it helps you guys out on finding all the treasures in Chapter 1, and I will be covering Chapter 2 next weekend once I have time to do it. This does take a lot of time to do these strategy guides, so I really do hope you guys enjoy them, and I will catch you guys next time in the next video.